Meet Bill. Bill is a 30-year-old business traveler working at one of the best consulting companies in the world. Bill has a meeting with one of their biggest clients on Wednesday morning in New York. So he went to the airport. It took him forever to pass security check because people were too slow while the other queue was a lot faster. And again, at the airport check, there was a long queue. Then Bill had to go to the bathroom, but he had to search for at least 15 minutes to find one. Bill was so stressed, his flight departs in 5 minutes, so he ran to his gate to find out that his flight was delayed. When he arrived to New York, he waited for at least 2 hours to retrieve his bag until he discovered that it was lost. And due to the waiting for his bag and his flight's delay, he was late to his meeting. We couldn't leave Bill hanging, so Marvin, Anas, Rima, Eve, Ahmad, Michel, Carl, Jean-Yves, and myself teamed up and worked side by side to find a solution to his problem. We were guided during our search by Oreyeon, a startup company that develops solutions to optimize airport safety procedures, and we were honored to benefit from the expertise of the famous pilot Michael Schumacher. First off, to identify the real source of the problem, we had to understand the need behind it. The problem at hand was to cut down waiting times in airports affecting travelers, airline companies, and airports. So we began by interviewing a wide range of travelers to form the most common user journey and understand their needs. The interviewed users were from a wide variety of backgrounds. Some were business travelers, others were traveling for leisure either alone, with friends, or with their families, and they were frequent travelers and first-timers. They all agreed that they had to leave 2 to 3 hours earlier their departure, that almost all the checkpoints had long waiting lines, and that the security check was the most time-consuming step. Some claimed that they didn't understand the procedures done at bag drop and passport control, and nagged about not being notified about flight departure or gate changes. They felt tired and annoyed because they found that they were losing a lot of time at the airport and considered that the procedures could be done in less time, especially business travelers. Those who traveled for the first time felt lost and were stressed because they thought they won't be able to catch their flights. And finally, some feared losing their luggage because it already happened to them once. After the interviews, we decomposed our main problem into sub-problems that need to be resolved in order to accomplish our goal. We needed to find a way to improve queue management, help travelers get better informed and avoid getting lost, improve security checks, and make it easier for them to find their bags in case of loss. All these knowing that we shouldn't compromise the airport security in any way or have them expand and hire more employees. And that's how Fast Fight was born. Remember our friend Bill? Well, Bill had another meeting to attend in New York, but this time, Bill decided to download our application. When Bill arrived to the security check, he surprisingly got a notification to proceed to the second lane and passed security check faster than ever before. Then he went to the passport check counter, where for the first time there were smaller queues, and he didn't have to wait less time to pass the step. That's because our app gave some passenger challenges intended to control the flow of passengers. This time, he also had to go to the bathroom, but he found his way in seconds given the indoor GPS feature in our app. On his way to the toilet, he was notified that his flight was delayed. Just imagine! And finally, when he arrived to New York, he received a notification that his bag would arrive to the airport in the afternoon, so he directly went to the hotel to rest before his meeting. That's how we made Bill's life easier. Now let's talk about yours. The airline industry loses almost $2 billion per year to compensate the loss of luggage, and $8 billion per year to compensate for flight delays. We simulated the flow control and security check features in our app. We found that people would arrive 10% earlier to their gates, and we could manage to organize people voluntarily by proposing challenges so that every passenger arrives on time to their gate. We chose to use an indoor GPS feature instead of a chatbot because 98% of people feel comfortable using it, whereas only 60% are comfortable using a chatbot. Plus, travelers found it mandatory to know about the procedures that need to be done at checkpoints, flight update, and gate changes that prevent them from arriving late to their gate. And knowing their luggage's whereabouts would prevent losing them, and so airline companies would spend less on luggage insurance. All in all, our application will help you reduce your costs. So what are we waiting for? Corona to shut down all the airports? Buy fast flight.